They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
And to accomplish what we want to accomplish.
We're trying to build the championship freaking football team right now.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
And welcome into the next exciting, thrilling, probably best thing you can do with your day episode of Fans of the West with your hosts,
Durf
and Dylan. That's basically just seamless at this point. We're good to go. It took like 6.5 weeks because I remember at the end of the episode last week we nailed it. So now like we're there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've made it now. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing that you love to see, folks. It's episode 7 already of this amazing show. Whew. I mean, I've been having a blast personally.
Yeah.
Mainly because I think what helps is, my team, the Seattle Seahawks, are better than the Buffalo Bills. So it like feels really good. Like heading into this week, knowing that like the superior team is on my side, it's a good feeling.
I guess, but no.
You're not gonna. I mean,
they did score more points than the Bills did last week, so I'll give them that.
A lot more points. Like not just not more points, like a lot more. Do you realize Geno Smith is the leader for MVP?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to talk it into existence.
I'm curious as to how many points the Bills will put up against the Lions Thanksgiving Day.
Ooh, boy.
If the Seahawks put up 48,
the Bills should be able to drop like 100. like, as long as we're not doing like mercy rule, like maybe like 70. Like let's make an NFL record here. Let's see what we can do.
That'd be awesome.
Man, it was a heck of a week last week. I went to the bar with our buddy Matt, and we watched the Bills game, and I watched the Seahawks game on my phone, and it was an electric environment.
Nice.
It was absolutely electric, just because the Bills game, the way that broke down. We'll obviously talk about that, and then I'm sitting here watching the Seahawks game on my phone, and I'm like getting all like I get all ramped up and excited. I'm like jumping out of the booth, and people are just like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like nothing happened. It's on a commercial break. What's he doing? It's like Rashad Penny just broke off for a 30-yard touchdown run. Why are you not excited? Because we didn't know that happened. Oh, that's fair. Okay, I get it.
I just thought you were excited about this new medicine that came out with it. They want old people to try.
Right, exactly. Like, how can you not be excited about evacuatricin? Like, that's just revolutionary stuff right here. Revolutionary. Oh my gosh.
It only gives you slight stomach pain.
Yeah, slight stomach pains. Side effects include, stomach pain, death, stuff like that, coughing up blood. No big. It's fine.
It's fine.
No
it
big
only
deal.
affects 75% of the people that take it.
Yes, and as long as you are a lucky person, you'll be fine.
There you go.
You'll be fine. The unofficial sponsor for this episode is going to be the month of October, just as a whole, just because October is an amazing month. Not only is it spooky season, which is just like a top tier season of the year. This is probably the most elite sports month out of the whole year, and it's hard to argue.
Right.
I mean, you have, let's see, I had it here next to me so I didn't forget something, but NFL and college football, obviously we're going along with that. Go Cuse, they're 5-0, love it, love to see it. Major League Baseball, wrapping up the regular season. Pretty sure it ends like in the next 3 days maybe. I think tomorrow may be the last day.
I think tomorrow is the last day. I think because there was a couple. I got notification that Jeff McNeil got the batting record.
Oh, did he?
Sitting out the season finale today.
Good for him.
For whatever team he played on. I think he played for the Mets. And he beat out Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Judge kind of choked that one away at the end of the season here.
Right.
A lot of strikeouts in the season because he's just swinging for the fences. Which is fair. You can't win two. You can't be the home run, new champ there and also get the Triple Crown. Like, you got to share. You got to share the glory a little bit. That's how this works. And then the playoffs is starting, and then the World Series starts around October 28th. NHL season starts October 7th. Very excited for that. I make a lot of money in hockey betting. It's where I you would think football's where I make money. It's hockey. Like, for some reason, hockey is just kind of relatively easy to bet on. I don't know. And they usually give you pretty good odds. Like, football's tough because they don't give you good odds on anything.
Right.
So you have to usually build parlays to make money. Hockey's just everything is in the hundreds. It's very easy. And then NBA season starts October 19th, which personally I don't care, but some people like that. Some people like it. So yeah, that's the month of October. Unofficial sponsor for this episode 7 of Fans of the Wheeze. Gotta love it.
Like it.
All right, so we're gonna jump into what happened last week. Let's talk about a little bit of football.
Football.
Do you want to flip a coin to see who goes first? I feel like we should be keeping track of who goes first every week, but we don't. I'm trying
to remember who went first last week.
Boy, oh boy, that's a tough one.
Because both teams lost, so we.
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember who went.
Well, I guess we'll just go in the order of what's on here then. I guess that'll make it easy, and then we'll actually remember for next week. Now, we will remember. I promise. I might even write it down. That's how serious I'm taking this. Well, as we said before, the Seahawks did in fact score 48 points in this football game. And if you would have told me a Geno Smith-led Seahawks team could score 48 points, I would call you an absolute madman, and I would probably put you on evacuatricin because, I don't know what it does for you, but you probably need something. And they still won. Although they gave up 45 points to a Detroit Lions team that did not have Amon-Ra St. Sun God, DeAndre Swift, or another wide receiver, Josh Reynolds maybe. Or no, it wasn't Reynolds. It was somebody else. I don't remember who their other wide receiver was out. But they're missing their top 2 wide receivers and their number 1 running back. And they still let up 45 points. So that's a concerning thing. But that's something that we kind of all knew through 3 weeks even. That the Seahawks defense is absolutely probably the worst thing we've ever seen this team put on a football field in a long time. And it's unfortunate because the offense is doing amazing things. Rashad Penny is absolutely showing flashes of what he did at the end of last year. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas are probably the best 2 offensive linemen, rookies in the league right now. I mean, Abe Lucas through 4 games has not allowed a sack. So he's been a beast. He wasn't preseason, so we kind of saw this coming from him. DK Metcalf popped off for this week, finally had a big game. Tyler Lockett again doing Tyler Lockett things. We still didn't really see a wide receiver 3, but at this point, I'm going to let that one die because I don't think we need a wide receiver 3. We have Will Dissly, Colby Parkinson, and Noah Fant. And Pete Carroll must have listened to last week's episode or saw my tweets about how I want each of them to have like 5 targets a game. Because I'm pretty sure all of them probably reached. I think at bare minimum they got at least 3. I know Dissly probably had about 5. They got involved 100%, and they're just awesome. Our tight end group is so talented. I would put our tight end group up against any other tight ends in the league. They might not be Travis Kelce's, but together, those 3, along with DK and Tyler, electric. Absolutely amazing talents. To go off of what I said last week here, Tariq Woolen once again proves himself. He did not have to go up against the Sun God, but he did have a pick 6 in this game. He's just been amazing. If it wasn't for the penalties, he might be one of the best corners in the league. I'm not even going to joke about that because right now his QBR, allowed QBR when he's targeted, is one of the lowest in the league. It's less than Jalen Ramsey, and he's also beating out fellow rookie corner Sauce Gardner with the Jets, who's also having a very good season and being talked about a lot. But Tariq is not, which is fair because he's on a crappy defense. So it's hard to talk about a guy who's on one of the worst defenses in the league. Which
happens a lot of time.
It's like the one bright spot is Tariq, but it's hard to get mentioned when you're letting 45 points up to a hurt Lions team. So it's not his fault, but I see what they're going for. So that was a big plus there. The pass rush did not get going, which is why I think the Lions scored 45. They could not get to Goff. They did okay with the run game, but Jamal Williams still popped off, which hit one of the bets I said. Jamal Williams anytime score. Obviously, that was going to happen. That was free money.
Nice.
I also said Lions spread -4.5. That did not happen, obviously. If it was +4.5, we would have been good to go. But, oh well. Yeah, pass rush did not get going. Still something that needs to be worked out. I don't understand what's going on with that. Because last year they showed so much promise, and now it's just non-existent. It's really upsetting. And then I already talked about point 3, which was the wide receiver 3. Don't need it because we have our tight ends. So overall, doing great stuff. Geno Smith, I'll talk about him a little bit more when we get to next week's matchup. But first, next we'll talk about the Bills v. the Ravens.
Yeah, and what a game that was! It was like a tale of 2 halves. It seemed like for the most part. But the Bills did end up with the win. A game-ending field goal by Tyler Bass to win 23-20.
Big balls, Bass.
Pretty much. BBB.
We're going to have him on the show someday. And I'm going to be like, everyone welcome to the show. Big balls, Bass. That's what it's going to happen.
So, yeah, great game. Like I said, tale of 2 halves there, basically. Bills just looked bad in the first half. Got a late first half touchdown, which helped them start that comeback of 20 unanswered points. They were down 20-3 before that first half touchdown. That went to Isaiah McKenzie. But this Bills defense has only allowed 7 points in the second half of any game through the first 4 weeks. And that was only given up to the Dolphins.
Of course, it's the game they lose. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. But only 7 points. That's through 4 games. It's pretty good. As much as I think it was the Bills' defense that I think had a lot of attributing factors to that, and the Bills' offense getting it right, I still think this Ravens defense kind of just like got flat-footed and thought, "Oh, we're up this many points, we're good," which is the exact same thing they did against Dolphins. Except it wasn't a 17-point comeback; it was a 21-point comeback for them when the Dolphins played them. So shocking stack. I think the Ravens are now 0-5 at home the last 5 games of the regular season. So that's disappointing. Like, why would you want to go to a Ravens game if they always lose now? But back to the Bills. I thought they did a really good job of containing Lamar Jackson. Didn't see Lamar definitely put a lot more in his arm than his legs, it seems like. And when he did run, I think the Bills contained absolutely perfectly to not let him get up the field like he normally tries to do. Definitely some hard hitting in this game, but the weather was not good, so I think that played in the favor of the Bills for sure. And, Bills being healthy for game time was slightly okay. Not great.
More people
Bills
played than I expected, honestly. Like Mitch was back,
Yeah.
Gabe was back. A couple of the guys that weren't just like out because of heat stroke.
Right.
Like people actually like came back and played, which I was a little bit surprised by all the like Poyer was back. I didn't expect that.
Back, which I was kind of expecting that. He did have the giant elbow brace on. He did go out at the end of the game because he got that wind knocked out of him basically on the interception, but he didn't have to go back on. He didn't have to go back out on the field anyway because the offense just controlled the ball for the next 2 minutes and ended the game. Little surprised we haven't seen Ed Oliver or Jordan Phillips come back yet, so it must be the muscle, the ankle or I think it's a calf and ankle. Must be those are a little bit still tender compared to what the Bills want to be, but we have enough depth there. The Bills don't have to, they don't give up any. They don't have to give up just everything, when they don't have those players there. Did lose Jamison Crowder in this game. I believe with a broken ankle.
Oh, woof.
Broken ankle or fractured ankle?
Those are the same thing in my mind, personally.
Pretty much, yeah. Did see the updated concussion protocol go into effect for Isaiah McKenzie, which I think was still a defenseless. It should have been a flag for defenseless receiver.
Probably.
But I think that's something that the refs just aren't calling this year.
They didn't call it against Dawson Knox last week, and they're not going to call it this week, I guess.
So, Bills did get a little healthy coming into game time, but then obviously still lost a couple players, but should be, I think, okay still going on. And balance on offense, what's the third thing I was looking to watch last week. They're still very pass heavy, and I think it is what it is. But one thing that I heard while watching the broadcast was the Bills have come out and said that these screen passes that they like to do, these quick outs, say they throw behind the line of scrimmage, that is their run game, and it's worked. So,
yeah, as long as you know how to do it, that's great.
Right.
Because the Seahawks can't. Like, they want to do stuff like that, but they are dog shit at it.
Yeah.
Like, they're the worst screen team in the NFL by far. So I'm happy to see the Bills can pull it off because, yes, they do it pretty well.
Right. So, and then the other point that I had last week was will we see more Dawson Knox? He's kind of been a little bit of a step back compared to what we expected or remembered from him last year. But there's still time in the season. I think he's still going to get a couple targets here and there. Was a little surprised Gabe Davis didn't have more targets, but I think with the conditions, a little tough to, for Josh to put the ball where he needs to for Gabe to.
It kind of felt like Gabe might have still been dealing with the injury.
A little bit, yeah.
He just felt like he didn't have that extra step he usually did, and like even if the ball was close, it wasn't like he was fighting for it. It was just kind of like, it wasn't dead nuts on my hand, so oh well. Like,
Yeah.
Kind of what it felt like.
Right. Oh, for sure. So, those are my points and things to watch, though. But then my bet last week that technically would have made it end in a tie
Got
was
yourself a push right there.
Bills -3. So almost there.
Well, you were smart not to go to 3.5.
Right.
So that's good. It's a push.
Yeah.
We get our money back and we move on to next week.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah.
All right. What was it was Bills -3 was in fact the spread last week too. And the lines was -4.5. Yeah, we kind of mentioned that because those were in the bets. So I just want to double check that.
Right.
All right. So that was last week's football game. Not to mention I think the play of the games was unfortunately not one of our teams, but it was Lamar Jackson escaping that sack where everyone in the bar thought like, "Oh, we got him," and he somehow spins out of it, and then he's about to get sacked again, and then he just chucks the ball into the air. The ball is tipped by like two Bills guys, and then falls into the hands of a tiptoeing Duvernay maybe.
Duvernay.
And he tiptoes the sideline and he catches it. Like
that was it was insane play.
Like we just kind of watched the TV. It was like, yeah, that's gonna be ESPN's top play of the week. That's the one. That's gonna be hard to beat right there. Oh my gosh, that was. So the next time they did sack Lamar, we're all just sitting there like, is he actually down this time? Are the whistles blowing? All right, we got him. All right, we got him.
Yeah. So I think like someone who was involved in that play too is like, I just gotta say, Matt Milano has been balls to the wall last week.
Good.
And the season in general, like him and Tremaine Edmonds are just flying around the field, and like they actually have the defense I think set up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows these guys to do what they're good at.
Like Matt Milano is like kind of reminding me of like your guys' Bobby Wagner.
Right.
And like kind of playing the same way. He's like super aggressive and he's involved in like every single tackle, every play. Mm-hmm. He is just there. I love seeing it because nothing is sexier to watch than a middle linebacker who is on fire. Because he will be in every play because that's what he's meant to do. Mm-hmm. So it's so much fun to see. So much fun.
Yeah.
So if we going into week 5, we're already going into week 5 of the NFL season. We're heading into week 5 while I sit at both 4-0 in both of my fantasy football leagues. Thought I'd mention that real quick.
Nice.
Impressive start from yours truly.
I got my first win this week.
Hell yeah. All right. Woo! 1-3, baby.
I obliterated my opponent too.
An obliteration as well.
Oh, yeah. It was a big one.
And in my other league, we had a tie. Both people scored 130.
Oh, geez.
And we even do decimal points, too, in that league. So that's even makes it even more impressive. But one of the guys who was 0-3 in that league as well, also, like, he scored, like, his team scored, like, 192 points. Jeez. So we got his first win, too, but I was just like, 109. Like, you go 0-3, and then you're just like, 192 points. Like, what the hell? What? I forgot who was on his team, but, like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So, week 5, the Seahawks will be going to New Orleans. One of their first back-to-back East Coast games here. This is what they do to the Seahawks every year, man. It just sucks. Like, you got to go all the way to Detroit, fly back to Seattle, and now we're playing in New Orleans. Every year we got to do this
Do they actually fly all the way back to Seattle, or they find somewhere to stay somewhat close?
I'd like to think they did, but I'm not sure. I cannot confirm one or the other.
I feel like they probably don't because of so many colleges that are doing college football things. They can't just give up space for an NFL team.
Mm.
So
I'd like to think they didn't go all the way back, but honestly, I do not know. Because I didn't see any practice footage. So maybe that's why I didn't see practice footage, was because they're not in Seattle.
Maybe.
So they will be facing the Saints, who are coming off of a very tough loss in London. A little bit of boom, boom, double doink action there to lose the game. Will Lutz, 61-yard field goal, double doink. That's exciting. And I feel like that's how you know the league's not rigged. because like you can't even try to double doink. Like there's no script where it's like make sure you double doink this in London. Like that's not a thing.
Right.
It's pretty funny. And the Saints were playing basically a practice squad team last week because they did not have Kamara, Thomas, or Winston. So I'm just kind of interested where they'll see it throughout the week. Neither Winston nor Michael Thomas practiced today. I know that much. So they are still. We know Michael Thomas is a baby. So who knows how long a simple toe injury will keep him out. And then Winston, he's like got a broken back. So, it's okay if he sits out. You take your time, bud. And I'm not sure about Kamara. I have not heard anything about that.
Yeah.
For Geno Smith, I mean, we saw Geno struggle in his one game this year was against the Niners. That was like the one bad game he's had all season. Because the 49ers obviously have very good defense. I mean, the Rams just got absolutely obliterated by them. Not point-wise, but like 7 sacks on Matthew Stafford. Like overall, they got destroyed by the Niners. So they have a very good defense. Another team with a good defense is the Saints. I mean, overall, they give Tom Brady a fit, struggle every single time. I think they are a top 10 defense, so Geno will be tested this week. He was not tested last week against Detroit, which most teams will not be tested by that defense, apparently. So he has to. We're going to see him again. We've seen him pop off against bad talent defenses. Let's see if we can solve a good defense. This will be the first real, true test of like maybe we don't entirely need to tank. Like, what if there's just this weird chance of like at least making the playoffs and having some fun? Because some fans are starting to reach that point. Personally, I still think it's like, what's the point? Like, why? Like, there's no Super Bowl team here. Like, we're not going to, like, the defense is never going to be good enough this year to win a Super Bowl. So, like, why bother?
Right.
I still think we should be in tank mode. But we have to talk about the fun side of things. It's not fun to sit here and be like, yeah, they should lose. We have to talk about winning. So, Geno's going to need to solve a tough defense and still throw the ball downfield, have that playbook wide open for him, unlike it was with the 49ers, because he can obviously do the whole playbook. We just saw it. They ran a billion plays and scored a bunch of points. So I still need to see that. Same thing with our running back, see if the running game can keep going. Overall, just, solve the good defense. Geno Smith has a 77.3% completion percentage right now, which is the most for a quarterback ever in NFL history through 4 games. Granted, some of those were very short passes through the first 2 weeks, but he's really opened it up the past 2 weeks, and he still has a good completion percentage.
Nice.
So, and he has just over 1,000 yards passing, which does put him in the top 10 for passing yards, which again proves that it's not just dinks and doinks. He's throwing the ball downfield. Because our team can't get yards after the catch. It's physically impossible. Like, we're the worst team in the league when it comes to yak. You could look it up. It's like bottom 28. So he's doing great. Geno's popping off. So we get to the 3 things to watch. Is exactly that. Can the Saints defense slow down Geno, or can they keep going? But more kind of focused in is going to be Abe Lucas and Charles Cross to keep doing their thing against Marcus Davenport and Cameron Jordan, who are their premier edge rushers. And that's the reason the Saints are as good as they are. The back end is like kind of mid. Tyrann Mathieu has been very quiet this season, but the pass rush is just elite. So I want to see my boys, my rookies. I need them to hold up against premier pass rushing talent. Abe Lucas, for the most part, has. Charles Cross has had a little bit of issues, like when he went up against Bradley Chubb and Nick Bosa. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting more of Cameron Jordan this game. So Godspeed, brother. We need you. I have Tariq Woolen and specifically Kobe Bryant going up against probably Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave, because I don't know if Michael Thomas is playing. I'm going to assume he's not. Personally, I just don't think he's going to. But Landry's been playing well, and obviously Olave has just popped off these past 2 weeks. He's really emerging right now. with Michael Thomas not playing. So I'm going to need Tariq Woolen to keep doing his thing because as we've seen, and I've already told you the stats, he's been great. He's going to get another tough matchup this week. And more specifically for Kobe Bryant playing in the nickel spot because he's not an outside corner. We've officially put him in the nickel spot, which is fine.
Where he belongs.
He's been doing pretty well there. He forced a fumble last week, so
Nice.
he does well there so far. He's a little undersized to be an outside corner, as we've seen now. So I just want him to be able to control that slot where you're mostly going to see Chris Olave start most of his routes. So I'm going to need him to get physical against a fellow rookie. And then I know we've talked a lot about Geno, the passing game. Where in the hell is Kenneth Walker Jr. III?
Wait, is that his real name?
No, it's just Kenneth Walker III.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, who named their kid that?
That was a thing that always came from Dan Patrick's show. When Russell Wilson was there, they would always call him Russell Wilson Jr. III, which was like never. It wasn't really his name, or he wasn't even a junior
Right.
the third. They just called him that for some reason. But this is actually Kenneth Walker III, so I just threw the junior in there for a Dan Patrick
okay.
shout out. But
I've actually been watching a lot of Dan Patrick lately.
I love Dan Patrick. It's such a good show.
I watch him Thursday, Friday mornings, and Tuesday mornings all the time.
He's where I think I get a lot of my desire to do podcasting because I love
he's
Dan.
definitely different.
Yeah.
Like he definitely has a unique show, and it's so interesting that he always calls ESPN the mothership.
The mothership. It's a little bit of a slight, but also acknowledging that they're
Right.
the center of everything, but they're also aliens. Well, like, where is Walker, man? Where's our rookie? Where's our second round rookie here, man? He gets a couple carries here and there, and he's shown some speed on like one or two plays a game. Like, I know he has it in him, but Rashad Penny's just doing too well to give him enough carries, which is unfortunate. Like, I don't want to slow down the train just to give the rookie carries, but at the same time, when you're in my mindset of like, yeah, we should be tanking, I do want to give him more carries. I want to see if we have a talent here at running back. Because you can hang on to Rashad. We have him locked in, I think, for another year after this one. But you gotta see what you have. You can't just let him sit there all season. It's like, well, Rashad's popping off, so I guess we're just not going to test out the rookie. Like, you gotta give him his shots.
Yep.
Because look how long it took Rashad Penny to come alive. It took him his entire rookie contract to finally get going.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that again with Kenneth Walker. I want to see this guy live, and I don't want Rashad Penny to get hurt. That's not how I want to see this happen. I just want him to get a fair share of carries, just so I could witness him. That's all I want. That's all I want. So I'm looking for him to get.
Yeah.
I want between rushes and catches, I'd like to see him touch the ball 15 times in this upcoming game. That's what I want. I'm probably not going to get it, but that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'll say you'll probably get closer to 10, maybe.
Probably. That's fair. But I would like to see 15 because then that would show me a commitment to your rookie running back and that you want them to be a part of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Just me. Maybe that's just me being greedy because I want to see something new and shiny. But we've seen flashes.
Right.
I kind of know that it's there, but they're just not giving them enough. So my favorite bets, this actual segment is brought to you by an actual sponsor of BetUS. You can bet on sports betting and sports at BetUS from any state. You make an account and you can just do it. And when you sign up and make your deposit, you use the promo code OOTF because I'm too lazy to change it. And there you go. You nailed it. You got 125% deposit bonus, and you can start sports betting. Doesn't matter what state you're in. It's awesome because it's Canadian-based.
Canadians.
So there you go. BetUS. You can do sports betting at BetUS. I wonder what their actual slogan is. It should be that. Like, you don't need something snappy or fancy. You just need something that's like, this is what we do. BetUS. Sports betting.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
Slap
go.
that on a t-shirt. Yeah, my favorite bets are under 46.
Okay.
I could see, obviously the Saints have the ability to put up some points, especially on this piss defense.
Mm-hmm.
But I get this weird feeling in my soul, like since there's like a couple injuries over there on the Saints side, this might be the week. This might be the week that they slow down an offense. Not completely stop them and they only score like 9 points, but maybe not like 45. All right.
True.
And then like this is a tough defense, so I don't expect the Seahawks to go out there and score 48. I see this to being like a 20-23 game, which puts us at 43. Bang. Well, that's actually the Bills score. So there you go. That's what I think the end score might be. And I also have a Chris Olave anytime score. I think if the Saints do score a touchdown, it'll be Chris Olave because he is just so good. So he's been playing so well. So there you go. That's my entire breakdown for the Saints and Seahawks. I feel like that took a while.
That's all good.
But it's a fun game. I think this will be good.
It could be, yeah. It's got the appeal of being a super fun game, and it's a 1:00 game, so
is it?
I won't be able to watch it, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Because I'm gonna be in Orchard Park this weekend.
Is this also a 1:00 game?
It was also a 1:00 game.
That kind of sucks because then both teams play at 1, and then it's like the rest of the games we have to just watch teams I don't care about.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right.
What
do you got?
The other games are games that you can just like sit there and laugh at the teams though, because like
True.
they make this dumb play or something, or like something dumb happens to them. It's like the kids from The Simpsons. There they go, ha ha.
Yeah, you don't like you're not sitting here getting mad.
Right.
So they do something bad or stupid that you don't like. You don't have to be like, oh, son of a, why did we do that? It's like, no, I'm just hoping for good games.
Okay.
Just no blowouts, please. Just
Right.
I want good games.
Yeah. So the Bills will be welcoming the Steelers this weekend into Orchard Park at Highmark Stadium, where the Bills are a 14-point favorite right now.
That's crazy. It's not crazy as in the fact that like it can't happen, but like that's a lot of points.
That is Vegas saying the Bills are going to take the back of their hand and just smack the living, whatever you want to call it, out of the Steelers.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's what I call
it. But I will be there. It will be fun. It looks like the weather is actually going to hold up pretty nicely for us. It'll be about, I think I saw 58 and sunny. Or maybe talking about like a chance of a shower, but I don't think it's. I think I'm fingers crossed it doesn't happen. So should be a beautiful fall game.
That's great fall football weather.
Oh yeah. So I am looking forward to that. And these are my 3 things to watch. I'm looking to see how much time Josh Allen will have in the pocket, because the Steelers defense is a little banged up, especially without having T.J. Watt there. I think the Steelers are going to probably have a little bit of trouble getting to Josh Allen. Kind of something, the Steelers gave up a lot of points in a short amount of time to the Jets with Zach Wilson as a quarterback. I would think this Bills offensive line, which I think is a little better this year than when they were last year, should be able to keep Josh Allen nice and clean until Josh goes to slide or something or whatever, because he's taking off for fun.
The Steelers are in fact 0-7 without T.J. Watt on the field.
That is true.
So this team is drastically worse without him for some reason. Like one player,
right? That's
crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. So I'm looking to see what the increased amount of time is for Josh Allen in the pocket with this Bills offense. Next, I'm looking at these defense pass rush. I'm hoping they just make an utter mess of Kenny Pickett. Just make him uncomfortable. Make the Steelers question why they decided to start him against the top tier defense.
Great week to throw him in.
I mean, I think it would be more fun for Mitch Trubisky to come and start for Buffalo, against Buffalo, because it'd been like a reunion thing. Like it'd been a nice little storyline there. But I still think the Bills would have had their day with Trubisky. So hopefully they can still have their day with Pickett.
To be fair, they might get to play with both. Like,
it is very possible.
I mean, there's a potential for that.
I don't think Mike Tomlin's gonna be that kind of coach.
Probably not.
That he flip flops all the time, but you never know, because if Pickett's if he just tanks really bad, and like you gotta be like, okay, save this kid now before he destroys his career, then I can see that happening. Kenny Pickett is mobile though.
Very.
Or Trubisky's not. Like that was what helped the Steelers, I think, get into the back end of the ball game last week against the Jets. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He did throw 3 or 4 interceptions, so
he completed all of his passes.
Yeah, he completed
7 passes to his own teammates and 3 to the other. He threw 10 passes and they all touched somebody's hands.
Yeah.
So that's
He's
impressive.
accurate.
Yeah, he's 100% completion percentage right now. It's impressive. I think that's an important point though with the mobility, because like if he didn't show that last week, like the Bills, I don't think would have expected to practice for mobility. You know, they would. I think they would have expected maybe a little bit of mobility, but mostly been practicing for the pass. But now it's like, oh, he can move. So let's like kind of just take what we did against Lamar and like probably instill a lot of those same things with the Steelers.
Right, which they'll be using Tavon Austin to mimic Kenny Pickett a little bit. Like they did use him for Lamar Jackson this week during practice. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing just having fun in the stadium and seeing all the loud noises and all the signs up on the screen that say sack, interception, turnover on downs.
Gonna be a lot of
those. So that's the second one. And then last one, I'm just kind of curious here to see what if this ends up being the matchup receiver corner combo here is 2 rookies. Little George Pickens versus Kaiir Elam. Obviously, Christian Benford is still out. He's going to be out for a few more weeks still with the broken hand head surgery. Dane Jackson played outstanding for coming back after a neck injury or whatever, how in detail the injury was, but still something happened, and he was. I think it's amazing that he came back and played the way he did. But Kaiir Elam is just there, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job as a rookie. I think it's similar to, you could look at Elam versus Tyreek Woolen. I think they're both doing very well for what they were drafted and put in place, and it just makes me giddy that we don't have Trey White yet.
Right?
Like he's just there waiting. Like I think he clears IR this week and can come back now, but they don't. But the Bills are really taking it slow with him and just making sure that they want to get him up to speed. They want to get his body back into shape, because obviously he wasn't going full speed during training camp and stuff like that. But like, I could tell you how bad the ACL was. Like,
yeah,
for someone,
been out for a while.
Yeah.
Not every ACL tear is equal. That's for sure.
Right.
Sometimes you can come back in like 8 months. Sometimes it's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You're still like full year plus.
I definitely don't expect him this week, and I think the Bills have already said that, but I'd be looking forward to possibly next week against Kansas City, maybe, or
he's probably fighting to come back for that one.
Or we see him potentially after the bye week against Green Bay. So
that would probably be the smarter choice.
Right.
The more fiery choice would be to have him back for Kansas City.
Right.
But you might want to be more smart than that.
It doesn't seem like the Bills are going to push it. Like they talked about making sure he's making sure he's ready before they put him on the field. So there's a good thing about that. But I'm looking forward to this Pickens versus Elam. I would assume, that Deontay Johnson is going to be kind of covered with Dane Jackson for the most part. I don't think I'm missing any other big Steeler receiver names.
Claypool's been like non-existent. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's still there. I was thinking Juju. But I'm like, no, he's at Kansas City now. Like it's not. That's not a thing anymore. So
I feel like Claypool is just. I don't know. I think that's. I don't know if that's like a thing with because they've had Mitch Trubisky.
right,
Or
I
like it's
kind of
just like
think
the
it
whole wide
is.
receiver core has been kind of crap, man. Like I don't know.
Right.
Like Deontay Johnson's been a pretty solid one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like Claypool and Pickens, they're kind of like going back and forth between the two, and neither one has like been impressing. Like
Right.
Pickens obviously had the like amazing one-handed catch, but like
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, it's been kind of mid.
Yeah. This pass rush for the defense, obviously, we got Najee Harris. Got to worry about him a little bit, but I think the Bills have done pretty good against pretty good running backs, so not entirely worried about that. So a couple other points here that I'm looking at for this game that I'll keep an eye on. Something that I kind of already mentioned when we did the recapping with the Ravens was the Bills continuing to use the quick screen passes as part of the running game. I still expect them to keep doing that. I think it's something that's working tremendously. It just lets the Bills players get the most opportunity in space. And especially Singletary, when they put him out there and he's in space like that, he's done really well. Side note, back to last week's game. At the end of the game there, I've heard a lot of people talk about how the Ravens made the choice to tackle Singletary to keep him out of the end zone. And then, when they should have just let him score.
Right. Because then you
I
get the
don't
ball
think
back
that
to
was
some time.
right. I don't think that was the Ravens choosing to tackle him short of the goal line. I think that was Singletary stopping.
I mean, it's
It
hard.
looked like he stopped and like fell because he knew he didn't want to cross that goal line.
Right.
Like to me, I saw it as player smarts, like player wits, of knowing stop before the goal line because now you can control the clock and finish the game.
Like if he wanted to get in, I'm pretty sure he could at that point, especially with the O line pushing behind him. But I think that's the first thing you'll notice is the O line is not pushing him from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was literally just Singletary making the decision if he's going to push forward by himself or if he's just going to go down. If they were trying to score, the offensive line, Josh Allen would be getting in there trying to push. Like everyone would be pushing.
Right.
No, that was definitely a decision on the offense's part.
For sure. So besides the unique running game that they came up with this year with Ken Dorsey, I'm also going to be keeping on Gabe Davis. I feel like since the injury, he's been a little iffy. Obviously, he was trying to get battle the elements in Miami, battling the weather in Baltimore. It's a little tough to be still healing, and then be put in a situation where it's not ideal to be able to play the ball that you are good at. So I think this week is a good week for him to be fully healthy, and I'm really excited to see what he can do just going off on the Steelers secondary. Minka Fitzpatrick is back there, probably going to be doubling up on Diggs, would be my guess. So that should hopefully alleviate some pressure for Gabe Davis to be able to do what he does best and let Josh just throw the ball deep in front of that home field crowd. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gabe can do, because I feel like Allen focuses on Diggs because of the connection they have, and obviously it works. I don't know if it's just me or if other people are saying this, but it seems like Diggs just gets tired during the game, because Allen targets him so much. Like Diggs is obviously gonna do what he can to help his team win, but it's like, Josh, take a break and throw it to somebody else.
I mean, I'd like to know his target count. That's for sure.
Right, it's definitely up there.
Yeah, like I'm sure catches are too. But I mean, especially in the first half, because they were just trying to get something going against the Ravens.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Who's he going to go to get something going? Obviously, Diggs. So it felt like almost every other throw felt like it was going towards Diggs. Mm-hmm. Whether that was on purpose or it was just kind of like no one else is open, let's just see what my boy can do.
Right.
I mean, I can understand why he might be a little tired, especially just, coming off of the Miami game and a
for
tough
sure.
one against the Ravens. Dude's working
Right.
out there right now.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't want to
Oh
let his
yeah.
man down,
No, he's just his team's grinding and it's grinding very well.
And especially without having Gabe out there the past couple of games
Right.
too.
For sure. So, favorite bet of the week. I think this is a fantastic bet.
The fact that this is plus money is insane.
Right?
Like, I feel like I should go lock this in right now.
So, my favorite bet this week for the Bills and Steelers, or Steelers and the Bills, is Bills total points in the second half over 14.5 points is currently at plus 112.
The only thing I can think of is the reason that's plus money.
Right.
Is because they might be expecting the Bills to put the second team in there at that point.
It's a possibility.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Right. Yeah.
The Bills are obviously an extremely heavy second half team, as we've seen through the first 4 weeks. Like, they love to just come on in the second half, both the offense and defense.
Like, the Bills have done so well adjusting
Mm-hmm.
at halftime this year, and it's just great to see.
Yeah. You kind of saw it a little bit last year when they came out against the Bucks in that game, making that one competitive in the second half.
Right. Force it to overtime and just losing a heartbreaker.
So your final lines here, just to clear things up, you got the Seahawks as 5-point underdogs heading to New Orleans, under 46. And you have 14-point underdogs with the Steelers and Buffalo. And your over-under there is 46.5. 46.5. Mm-hmm. And that will wrap up our show, folks. We appreciate your time every single week to tune into this, either on your favorite podcasting platform or over on YouTube. And when you take the time to hit the follow button, the subscribe button, the notification button, all of those buttons, if you click it, we just appreciate every single one of those clicks. At least when it's to follow and to subscribe and not to unfollow or unsubscribe.
Absolutely.
Just the one way around, all right, just to make that perfectly clear. And if you are trying to find us on social media, it's at Durf and Dylan. And if you're looking for the podcast, it's Fans of the Weast on all of your favorite platforms. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
Go Bills.